What is up and welcome back, and today we're going to be getting a close look at the Explorer Boost shoes from Adidas, and these right here are going to be a hybrid between a casual kind of lifestyle shoe with the mixture of these running vibes. Okay, so we are going to get into all the good and also some bad. So with that said, let's get right into the close-up of this sneaker. And the first thing I want to talk about that I was a little disappointed is going to be with the aesthetics of the front of the sneaker. Online it looked a lot better in my opinion, but when I got it in person I kind of wasn't too thrilled or excited. And that sometimes happens when you're looking at shoes online. Sometimes they surprise you and they look better when you receive them, and sometimes, kind of like this case, I wasn't too thrilled or happy how that looks. Okay, and again, now you see what it looks like with the up close, and you can decide to get a more solid color in the front, and I do like how it looks dark in the back, or maybe just get all black, or maybe that off-white for the whole shoe, right? It could be a nice clean look, so it's up for you to decide. And then for the remainder, you are going to have this engineered mesh, and it is a lot more thinner in the front. You can see when I put my hand through it that it moves a whole lot, so it's going to be very breathable, but it does get more thicker as you're moving on to the back of the shoe, and you can see that right there with this overview look. And the padding is going to be in between thin and medium. It's going to be more like right here, right, medium. It's a little bit underneath. Okay, and I think that's pretty good because it's going to work out very nicely for the summer. So you can wear this shoe for all those hot days that are coming up. Online they mentioned that this shoe is made from 50% recycled materials for the upper, and I'm going to say that could be, for example, the neoprene in the back. Not necessarily old materials, but maybe they have some leftover neoprene and they added that in the back, and I think that looks very plush and very good looking. Okay, right here, very lush. And then also, for example, we take a look at the tongue. You can see a little bit of suede right there. Okay, and technically this shoe doesn't have a tongue because it is all one piece. You can see that right there. It is going to be all one piece. Okay, again, it's all one piece, but you do get that suede right there for what we would consider the tongue. And also we get a close-up of the laces. You can see that they are going to be a quality material, and that's something you expect, especially with a shoe that costs 190 USD, almost $200, and so far you are getting quality materials, so I'm happy to see that. Then moving on to the shoe, if you do take a look that it is a booty design, you are going to have these TPU plastic right here that's going to help cage in the shoe in the interior, because you don't have a disconnected tongue, right? You have this type of system, so this does really help out get a better fit and a better lockdown feel, especially right here in the middle section. Very good they did that, because you don't really see when it gets scrunched up because you do have these plates right here. Okay, so that's a nice design, because when you can see a shoe that's being pulled inward like that when it's the booty, it looks kind of a little bit tacky, so it's nice that they have that in this shoe with this outside TPU plastic. Now we turn around, you can see that that same TPU material is going to be in the back, but in this case it's just going to be here for just looks, because I feel it doesn't do a whole lot. Even the heel area, let's just look at that, it bends in, so you don't have no internal heel clip or nothing right here in this area. So the majority of the support for this sneaker is going to be right here, and then how your foot sinks in to all this boost. Okay, and some shoes are like that because this is going to be a lifestyle shoe, so you don't need a whole bunch of support in the back of the shoe or right here in the front. So moving on to the bottom portion, you are going to have boost midsole all throughout, like the online page explains, and right here it is going to be super exposed for the top portion, and for the lower portion it is going to have a coating over it. Okay, but when you press down you do feel that they are very similar or practically the same, just that this one has that coating over it for the color. Okay, so you are going to have two boost materials stacked on top of each other, but in between them you are going to have this torsion system, and you can see that it goes all throughout the sneaker from the front, wraps all the way around and then it connects right there. And the whole idea of this torsion system is because that's going to help out with adding more stability and support. The shoe is going to be very plush. It's going to be some of the best feeling for your feet. Believe me, when you're walking in this shoe, it does feel super cushioned. It feels like clouds. A lot of people lots of times say, hey, it feels like you're walking on clouds. Now this one is going to be a perfect example of that right there. I am going to say it does feel like you're a little bit walking on your bed, right? Not those really super soft beds, because then that'd be kind of impossible to walk, but more like those firmer type beds. So it feels real good underneath your feet. And you definitely feel it from this area to around this area, because in the front it is going to be a lot more thinner, but I was really surprised how good you get that feeling right here. Okay, it feels real good right here, and real good for the heel area, of course. Just look how much boost you have. And this is what the insert looks like. As you can tell, it is going to have a felt lining on top of it, and that's going to help so your sock doesn't slide around. Also, I do love that they took the time to design a little different than just a regular insert. You can see that it has a lot of indentation right here that's going to be help out with also the insert not moving when it's sitting inside. And again, a little bit of ventilation holes right there. So in actuality, you don't need a real thick insert. I love how they added this right here. You can see how thick it is. I love how they added this to it. But because you have so much boost, you don't need a real thick insert, but it's nice that they took the extra time to design one like this. And then on the inside of the shoe, you are going to have right here the strobo board, as you can tell. And again, it's nice to see a strobo board in the shoe because it helps the insert not slide. Okay, and you can see that it also has those holes so you can see the boost from within. So getting a close look at the traction pattern, we can see that it's not too aggressive. So that's going to mean that you're not going to be able to use it for all sorts of terrains. Definitely if you take it out, for example, where there's a whole bunch of little rocks, you might get a little bit of slippage right there. Okay, so this traction is going to work very well for sidewalk or for something that's more even. Okay, like a clay material, or maybe out in your park, right, where the dirt is nice. Nothing that moves around a whole lot like we're talking about. Okay, this rubber is going to be very flexible. You can press down on it. You can see that. I can press down on it. Okay. You can also bend it. Look, it bends easy. And not just that, you can bend it the other way. Look. Okay. So this rubber underneath it, it's also not going to be the thickest. Just look at that. Okay. So definitely if you're using this on a regular day basis, you might go through it somewhat quick, especially if you're trying to run really hard in this shoe. It is going to wear out a lot faster. So be wary of all those details. Now moving on to the fit section, this is going to be a part that I highly dislike because this shoe did not fit correctly for me. And the reason for it, because I do have a shorter foot and somewhat narrow in the back. So with this shoe, I did have a whole bunch of room in the front right here, about an inch. And then when I was walking, my heel felt like it was moving up and down, sliding up and down. And that's something that's no good, definitely, for a shoe that you're trying to feel comfortable, or even if you're trying to exercise a little bit, it's not going to work at all. So definitely this shoe for a fit size is going to be one of those shoes that's going to be very tricky. The best way to get it fitted correctly is by trying it in store. Okay, so you have that opportunity, go in store, try different sizes, then you can go home and order the colorway that you like the best. Okay, that's gonna be my best suggestion for the fit. But if you are going to order it online, if you do have a longer foot, right, and your foot is on the width side, either regular or bigger, right, it can be wide, then this shoe might work well for you. You can go true to size, and this shoe does stretch somewhat. Okay, so don't worry about it not fitting, right? Just order your regular size if your foot is long, and then somewhat regular or wider. Okay, but if you do have a shorter foot, or maybe you have a very narrow foot, or maybe slightly regular, right, it's going to be best that you go a half size down, because you don't want to have those issues that I'm talking about where it's too much space in the front or your foot sliding up and down. Okay, so that's going to be my recommendation. Okay, and I even heard some people say about this particular model that for them they had to go a full size down because their foot is just way too narrow. So again, this is going to be a general guideline. Try to follow it the best that you can. So what's going to be my overall take with this shoe is that it's going to be best for just a last out approach. Even though it does have those kind of athletic running vibes to it, it's a shoe that I wouldn't recommend because you really can't take it out a whole lot, right? If you're using this on a regular and you're trying to go hard out there, trying to really exercise and burn some calories, you're going to go through the bottom of it really fast, okay? And not just that, but we also talked about that this shoe kind of feels when you're running with it or walking with it, that you sink into it. So if you're really trying to run out there and exercise or jog, your foot's going to be sinking in and then you're going to feel the ground and then pushing off. So it's going to be somewhat the feeling of when you're stepping in a puddle ride that you sink in for like a tiny bit and then you're able to touch the ground and push off. So it's actually going to make it a lot harder to run, to be efficient and not get injured because you're going to be stepping in, sinking in a whole lot. So you might be getting tired faster and not working out how you want to work out. So that's just how I feel personally about this shoe. Now, if it's just going to be for walking, man, you're going to be in for a treat, right? You can even hear it in my voice because they do feel very soft and plush, very comfortable when you're walking. I felt that it's very balanced. You don't feel that you're getting pushed too forward or anything like that. So I do love the setup of them. Not just that, but you can style them in different ways like we talked about. If you have sportive clothes or something athletic, they go real well. Or if you get more of a cleaner type look shoe with the colorway, you can dress up nicely for a night out on the town. So with all these details that we talked about, you can decide if this shoe is going to work with you or not. And the price tag is $190 USD, so it's going to be up to you to decide. So with that said, these are going to be the Adidas Explorer Boost shoes, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.